Hello and welcome to Offstage. My name is Shamanabia, and in this episode we are going to do things a little bit differently. So where we would only talk to the band or to the record label, we are going to mix it up today. So we have Dylan from the Clubs and then Warren from Now Just Now. But before we start this episode, we are first going to listen to 13 Steps from the Clubs. Hi guys, welcome to your episode of Offstage.
Hi, what's up? My name is Dylan. I'm in the Clubs.
Hi, my name is Warren Fisher, and I'm the co-founder of Now Just Now.
Great guys, so it is so wonderful to have you here, and thank you so much for reaching out. I'm very excited to have a person from the recording studios and an artist with us. So it's a very different way of doing this. So we are just going to start with Dylan. So Dylan, what is your role in the band?
I play guitar and I sing in the Clubs.
How long have you been performing, and is this something that you have studied for?
I've been playing music for about 12 years and I've been performing for about 7 years or so, if you exclude jazz band and stuff from high school, which I don't. I actually include that in my CV.
You really should.
Yeah, I claim that's the most thing I'm the most proud of, to be completely honest. And I was going to study music, but I wanted to do it abroad, and we just couldn't afford it at the time. I wanted to study jazz and blues and that kind of stuff, as a snobby teenager dreams of. Every snobby teenager's dream is to go study jazz abroad. But I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad I don't have the degree, because it has opened up the avenues to get me to where I am now. So to answer your question in short, no, I haven't studied.
So this is definitely something that you have wanted to do since you can remember.
To be honest, I was one of those kids that had no idea what he wanted to do. And then when I got a little half decent at music, I think an obsession hit me. I think that is the right word. And then, yes, then all I wanted to do was play music. Didn't necessarily want to do it for a living or anything. I was very happy with living in someone's garage, playing guitar, you know, selling my shoes for strings. But yeah, as far as my conscious mind can remember, yeah, definitely I wanted to play music, and that's all I want to do.
So have you always imagined yourself to be in a post-punk band?
To be honest, yes. Yeah. I just didn't know it was called post-punk. But if I look back on all the music that I've listened to growing up and what I've liked to play and write, it was definitely more post-punky, the stuff that I enjoyed, that I enjoyed the most. So yeah, indirectly, yeah, I've always wanted to play post-punk. It just came in different forms and maybe a little bit too far from post-punk, but it still had the reminiscences of it. But yeah, it's my favorite. I love post-punk.
That's so cool. So how was the clubs formed, and how did you guys decide on the name?
We were in a band called We Are Charlie, and we started writing stuff similar to it was almost like the prototype to what the clubs is now. But we realized it sounded too different, and we wanted to change too many things. So we didn't want to do it under We Are Charlie. We just said, you know what, I think we've outgrown this. Let's start a new band. And I don't remember how I thought of the name. It's like, you know, let me tell you, the most difficult thing for a musician is to think of a cool band name. It is honestly the most difficult thing. And it takes years. Like, I wanted to start my first band, let's say, from the moment I picked the guitar up. So for 12 years, it took me 12 years to think of a half decent name, and I don't even think it's that cool anyway. But we're sitting on the couch, and I just thought, the Clubs, that's a cool name, and that's where it came from. I pitched it to our drummer Wesley, and that guy's so nonchalant. He was like, "Yeah, let's do it." So
nice. I mean, it could have been way worse. Not to say that the band name is bad, but you guys could have been stuck with like a really awful name, and everybody else loved.
That's what happened with our previous band. You know, we thought it was a terrible name, and people liked it. The more people liked it, the more it upset us. So I don't know. And that's just, you don't want that growing inside of you. You know, life needs to be enjoyed. So
Warren, from your side, how does one get into recording and working in a studio?
I guess you have to have an interest in sound. That would be the first thing that needs to happen. I'm sure there are people that have, it's just happened to organically, maybe some people moving over from working with video and then ending up in sound. These days, there's a lot of colleges around. So if you're interested in music, you can learn about music production, and then you get taught about sound, and then vice versa. You could go into a college and learn about sound, and then come out knowing more about music. You know, it's changed a lot from, say, the early days of how a mixing engineer or recording engineer was groomed. There would always be mentorships within studios, and you would learn from an accomplished engineer. So now you can kind of get the fundamentals from a college and then go for it yourself. There's also there's so much entry level gear for people to get started on. You can accomplish a lot at home. People are recording more in their home studios purely because recording studios are expensive. But the benefit with recording with a qualified engineer is, you know, they know what they're doing and they've honed their craft. So I would always say, like, college is great. It's a great stepping stone, but it's best to learn from people who have been doing this for a very long time. Yeah, mentorship, I think, is a crucial part in audio engineering.
Definitely. So have you studied to become a sound engineer?
Yes, I did. I went to Cape Audio College. I graduated in 2012.
This has obviously been something that you've always wanted to do, but did you imagine that this is exactly how you're going to do it? Or were you wanted to become like a live sound engineer or be in a band?
No, I knew what I wanted to do, and I set myself on that path. This is kind of where I wanted to be, and I'm there. So I didn't really waver in any way. I worked towards what I wanted, and, you know, I still have other goals in mind, which I'm working to. Like, I would love to have my own studio, for example, but money just keeps getting in the way.
If it only was for free, like, that would have been so amazing. At ASU, like, it was all fun and games because you can rent out the studios, and then after a while it's like, okay, 2,100. I'm like, sorry, I don't even know what I'm gonna do here. Like, come on, guys.
Oh, drummer went there.
Oh, nice. Which year?
You finished in 2014 or 15?
Way before me. Not saying he's old, but
Okay.
that was
So
before my before my
I'm gonna
time.
tell him you said he's old.
He's a
I'm gonna
bully,
tell
bro.
Okay, so with all the serious questions now behind us, Warren, in one word, okay, let's make it 5 words, okay, to be realistic. Can you describe how it was working with the clubs?
Jeez. It's shit. Oh, you said a few words. Fun, challenging, exciting, educational. How many was that? How many did I clock?
I think that was 4. Yeah.
Okay, fun. Can I say fun again? Yeah, it's really nice working with friends. And, I met the clubs dudes quite a while ago when I've been up to Joburg and Pretoria on a tour. We hang out, and they've been down to Cape Town, I think, once or twice, Dylan?
As the
Twice.
clubs once. Yeah,
Oh,
we were meant
okay.
to go this year again.
Yeah, so our friendship has grown, and it seemed quite natural to want to work with friends on their release. And everyone at Nana just now is quite passionate about their music, and we all really enjoy it. So it becomes really easy when doesn't really feel like work when you're having a good time and you're doing it for people that you really enjoy.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense to work with people that you actually like. And it also with the engineering side of things, when you actually understand the music and you know how to mix and master that, obviously it makes a lot of sense to do it for a band that you actually like.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't mix their stuff. Hopefully we'll work together in the future. But yeah, their recording process was really cool from what I know about it. And Dill, maybe you want to talk about how it was done, but their workflow was really impressive. And when I was told about that, it got me really excited.
Oh, thanks, dude. Well, I also just want to mention before I say anything about that working with these guys is honestly such a privilege for us. I mean, I know we're a big challenge because we are quite a new band, but it's just been such a rad experience. But in terms of the recording, we went really simple on it. We just plugged in all the mics and set up all our stuff and just played the song. So we were able to record all of it quite quickly. What we wanted to capture was honesty. We wanted to sound exactly how we sound. Don't use any equipment that we don't own, except for the drum kit we used, which was amazing. It is this old vintage Ludwig, which was Wes is still crying somewhere about that. But the experience was really cool. The producer we worked with, he did a lot of the stuff in the past, and I remember he came or with the previous band, and when we did the clubs, he just looked at us and he said, cool, well, we're going to do this live. Like, you guys should do it live. And that's like almost like a bit of a milestone for a band, especially when you play this genre of music. You definitely want to do it live. You don't want to, well, I mean, you can. I mean, the production value might just be different. That's all. It will just sound different. But this is the easiest and the best way to capture what you have in your head, because you've already heard it in your rehearsals. It's your guitar, it's your bass, it's your voice through a 58. It is what it is,
So would you say from a band's perspective that it is, to a sense, a bit more stressful recording your music and going into studio as then to perform live in front of hopefully hundreds of people?
It's a good question. I don't really think about it, but it's different. It's very exciting to go into studio because it's like one of the final steps to your creative process. And it's like sending your kid to school. You're pretty sure the kid's going to turn out good and smart, but you don't know. And that's sort of exciting, and live is its own thing. There are 3 aspects to being in a band that's most important to me. I know Warren, being part of the label that we're working with now, there's some things that he thinks we should find more important. But it's spending time together with the guys in your band and rehearsing. Let's say, for the sake of keeping it simple, rehearsing, very important, building that chemistry, because that's my favorite part. That's number 1. I'm going to go in descending order. Then second is live, what you're going to show people when you get there. If people show up to watch you, that is a big privilege. If you're a musician and people come watch you, don't take that for granted. You need to give them your best, and you need to give them what they've come to see. And they're giving you a huge compliment. The third thing is the production value, your product, the recording side of it. So there are 3 to get back to your question, none of those things are nerve-wracking. All of those things are amazing, but for different reasons. They're their own thing. So I don't have a preference, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, it makes so much sense because, I mean, obviously each to their own. But as a band, and like you mentioned, you've been in We Are Charlie. So as a band, how do you guys prepare yourself for going into something new and writing a new song?
Yo, how do I approach this? This is also very complex. I guess it has to be something that happens naturally. Like you can't force a change in sound. I'm sure you can, but reminiscences of your old band will always be there because it's still you playing, it's still you singing. If you're the lyricist like I am, it's still the same brain and in the same body, you know. So I think it was just a natural change in my life and the guys in the band's life. It was going to happen whether we left We Are Charlie or not. That's where we were going. Like I wanted to sing about different things. I found way more inspiration in singing about the stuff that I sing about in the clubs. Wesley wanted to write different drums. He was so over what he was writing and he wanted to express himself creatively. And Warren's an old punk, you know, he's an old dog. He brought something new to the band so that he didn't have to change. It's like natural growth.
Definitely. So Warren, from your side as a scout and a person that has to do a lot of networking, how would you say you go about scouting bands and artists?
As Nana just now, we try to keep our fingers in all the pies, I guess. So maintaining relationships with the people that you already know, and you know, when you see any new publications or any new opportunities come up, it's always good to touch base with those people that are creating that content, whether you would like to work with them in the present or in the near future. It's a really good way to also just help build a network for everyone, so you can everyone can help each other. But when it comes to finding bands, I guess, or any artists for that matter, I guess you got to kind of just seek out new music all the time and, you know, talk to people. You never know, like some of our friends have surprised us with EPs and we didn't even know that they were working on them. And, you know, it could be sometimes their first releases. I guess just speaking to people, asking what people are listening to, exploring. And then there's also those people that you've kind of overlooked. You know, sometimes people do change their musical paths and they start creating different music, and somehow it can be more relevant to you at that point, and you know, you can see value in it. Then there's often I'll listen to an album, for example, and it won't grab me and I just won't like it, but I put that same album on, say 2 months later, and all of a sudden I can't stop listening to it. And I think that can also translate to artists that you may not like at a certain time, but you know, somehow something eventually grows on you. So checking in with people that you already know and artists that you've already heard. As Nana, would just want to believe in the music that's being created by the artist. That is probably the main aspect on what makes us want to work with any specific musician.
That makes absolutely sense, because I mean, why would want to work with someone that you don't really believe in their music in? And I mean, as we said, each to their own. And I think, because you guys it's 3 of you that created Now Just Now, right?
Yeah.
So obviously the 3 of you have a plan in action of like, okay, this is the kind of bands that we are looking for, instead of one person believing in the band and the other person's like, well, no. There
isn't a set genre that we're trying to stick to. In the early days of Now Just Now, when we were still putting out vinyls, we also hosted a residency at the Mercury in Cape Town. It was called The Floor, and I think we had it every second Thursday. And we really try to diversify the acts that were playing there. And, you know, we hosted many bands and artists, and it was actually their first performances. And those artists that we got on those bills didn't reflect the vinyl, the genre of music that the bands that we put out on vinyl were actually playing. We really didn't want to, or we don't want to pigeonhole ourselves. And we are working with some artists in the next few months that, you know, are nothing like what we've worked with before. You know, art is art. To only really stick to one genre, there's value in every single genre. So I don't see much of a muchness in sticking to, I don't know, spaghetti bolognese all your life.
Yeah.
Like, have some lasagna. I don't know.
Great analogy. So from the club side, you guys have released 2 songs in October, which is absolutely amazing. Can you tell us more about the songs that have been released and the feedback that you guys have received?
Yeah, so we got to thank Now Just Now. They've kept us on a cool schedule. So that's all they're doing, getting those 2 releases out. So the first single was meant to be the opener of the album. I don't know if I'm giving away too much. Warren, just shout at me if I'm saying too much.
What I mean, Yeah. Oh, the track list. I mean,
Uh,
no, I think it's cool.
okay. But it was just, I don't know. I think it was a good idea to get people familiar with that song with our plan in mind. We recorded all of the songs last year. We did the whole album in one go, except for the two that we've released now. So they're a little different sounding to what we've already released. So I guess it was a good idea to let them out as singles because it could maybe just get people listening to those songs. And then when the full thing comes out, it's the full package, maybe some stuff that they've seen at shows or originally liked about us, all packaged together with maybe a bit of progression. The first song is that upbeat one. It's just a really, here you go, this is what it is. And there's nothing really to it. The hardcore post-punk song. And the second one was my favorite song to write on the whole album. It was very minimalist and lyrically I had a lot of space to write that song. Yeah, the feedback's been pretty good. People who listen to post-punk, they're far and few. You know, there's not a lot of people in South Africa who listen to post-punk, but the ones who really do notice and they give the best support. And the feedback's been pretty good. On the first song, all those classic diehard people, they were messaging us on Instagram saying that they digged it, which made us feel very good about ourselves. And then on the second song, it was like people you never expect would listen to our genre of music like that one. So it's been good. The response has been good so far. I don't know what it's been like to the Now guys, but... Oh.
And you guys have a brand new song coming out pretty soon. So that is it also in October, like to end of October, or when is the song going to be released?
I think we're releasing the album next.
Yeah, the album releases on 13th of November, Friday the 13th to be exact.
Yeah.
Was it
like
accidentally on purpose Friday the 13th?
It was not on purpose. So, I mean, take from that what you will.
I think that's just how your guys' schedule worked out. I think it made the most sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite cool that it's actually happening on that day, but I think we discussed it that, you know, we're gonna find out how unlucky it is to release an album on.
Yeah, we'll take it on. We'll take it from face value.
Bite that bullet.
Yeah, for sure.
What do you guys do when you are not on stage and performing or working in a recording studio and scouting, I guess?
Most likely surfing if I'm not in the studio. I'm a musician myself, so like that, but that's also kind of work. I don't know. Yeah, I'm mostly I've gone surfing or fostering a puppy, one of the two. looking after a cute old dog.
Just being the raddest dude all around. That's pretty much it. That's what Warren's doing. Oh man, I don't know. I'm quite a recluse, to be honest. I run a lot as much as I can. I feel like that clears my mind. I wish I was able to surf. It sounds flipping cool. But I enjoy reading. I paint a lot. We're actually in my little studio right now. I've painted Warren. It's on the other side. I'm not going to show you guys. But yeah, and that's it. I do play a lot of music. I guess that takes up a lot of my time. So when I'm not playing music or working, I'm running, I'm reading, and I'm painting.
That sounds like you guys have the absolute best lives ever. Like making art, surfing, fostering puppies, like that sounds like the life that you would want to have when you're not performing and not creating stuff.
You know, getting arrested in Poland, like
yeah, yeah. Don't want to talk about that.
So
impulsive.
Impulsive.
I mean, I feel like I want to ask about this.
Oh man,
no.
Definitely not PG, man. I went to a music festival in Poland and I watched Fat White Family and Heinz, and we met this Pole who was taking us to the beach, and we were really drunk, and he said, like, let's just hop on this train. So we just got on without paying, and the cops ended up being on the train, and they came up to us, and this dude just told me not to speak at all because I was pretty rickety wrecked. So he spoke to the officer, and we just swiped our bank card and paid some sort of fine, and then they just let us go. But yeah, it was kind of touch and go. I wasn't really in my right mind.
At least you have a cool story now, and you didn't go to jail. Apparently, Polish jail is like not what you would expect. It's very nice. It's like an actual house, and you can watch TV. You're in your own.
What?
Yeah, dude, they have like the nicest prison.
For real, I thought it was like
I
a
told
gulag
you.
or something.
I told you, man. That's the dream.
Yeah, that's like to choose a prison to go to. It's like Poland,
I gotta put that on the bucket list now. I'm so close.
right? You should
So
have
close.
paid the bribe.
Yeah, just punch the officer.
Yeah. So the last question that I have for you guys is, if you can play any other instrument that is not in your band or that you have not been working with as a scout or in a studio, what would you choose?
The first thing that popped to mind was the theremin, but like,
Same. I'm not even
Really?
kidding. Yeah. I'm like running through all of them. I'm like, theremin would be cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's
I mean,
probably
it's got all that cool appeal to it.
everyone looks at you and just, what's he doing? And you also think to yourself, what am I doing? But it sounds cool.
It sounds cool. Yeah.
Do you think
I
that
don't know.
you'd be in the same genre as you are right now if you played that?
It would work.
I think
Yeah,
it would,
for you guys and for us, dude. It would be kind of rad.
Maybe bring the theremin back.
Yeah, but put some fuzz on it, maybe some
Yeah.
delays. It'll be cool. It'll be a rad little layer.
Space it out.
Anyways, guys, thank you so much for your time. And it's been wonderful getting to know both of you and seeing the different sides from what goes into a band and the studio work of this.
Cool. Thanks for having me. Oh, us.
Yeah, thanks for having me and us.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.